All right, here we are. Blake
Huh?
Kaplan, Sterling Distribution. Blake, tell us what Sterling Distribution is all about.
Sterling Distribution, we are a distributor of packaging, paper, janitorial, and safety supplies. Been around since 1937. The owner is Bob Rosenfeld. He wrestled at Edinburgh in the 60s. The original family from the 1937 family, some of them still work here. The average tenure here is 15 and a half years, so it's been going great. We're trying to keep growing. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, let's dive a little bit more deep into what Sterling does.
Okay.
I had an incredible walk around with you. We saw humongous warehouse here, inbound, outbound, paper. Give us I know there's a lot, but give us a high level view of
Sure.
what they
I say our legacy is paper, selling fine paper to large industrial printers or copy paper to schools or any business that uses just general 8.5 by 11 copy paper. That was our legacy business. I don't really focus on that myself. I focus more on the packaging and shipping supplies. That could be anything from any type of warehouse or any manufacturer that has to take a product and ship it somewhere else. We have protective packaging for that, boxes to make sure it gets from A to B without being damaged, any type of specialty tape, any type of specialty foam, styrofoam, EPS foam, polyurethane, so a whole bunch of different items that could be whatever our customers need. I say half of our items are stock items that anyone could use. The other half are going to be custom items that are customer specific.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit, dive into the custom side.
Okay.
Well, before I get there, let me back up. So we get Amazon at our door every day, right?
Sure.
It's packaging material in there. That's stuff we pitch or we
Yeah.
recycle, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
So take that for granted. That's what I hear. That's what you guys are into.
Yeah, massive industry behind that. So take that package. There's different ways they want to ship those. Sometimes it's those thin paper mailers they're shipping. Those ours don't say Amazon. We have those to our other e-commerce customers. They can get those and bag those to ship them out. They're also trying to find the most efficient way to ship their products. So Amazon will have a zillion types of boxes. In our warehouse, we have about 150 stock boxes. So our customers get shipped. They don't want to ship just air. They want to make sure it's the best utilization of the space to get the lowest shipping rates while still protecting the product.
Okay, let's go custom then.
Okay.
I saw Rogue back there, right?
Correct,
So
yes.
Rogue has a specific product, obviously, and it needs specific packaging. How do you guys play into that?
A lot of times we'll work with their designers before the part even goes into the shipping. So they can show us the part and say, here's the best way to ship it from A to B. Here's custom caps, here's custom packaging. They'll go around it. So we'll make sure we provide the best solution, working from the design stage, purchasing stage, supplying the different items, procuring different items to bring in. Because a lot of times it's not just one item for a particular part. I will consolidate a whole bunch of different items to make sure they have the best product.
All right, so let's talk about maybe a typical day around here, right? Huge operation. You said, what, 100 employees?
100 employees, yes.
Okay, let's talk about what a typical day from, I was going to say 9 to 5. It starts about 5 a.m., right?
Yes, our drivers usually get here at 5 a.m. They load the trucks and go out, as our own fleet of trucks go out to make same-day deliveries or next-day deliveries to the majority of our customers, which we cover all of Ohio and Western PA and some outlying areas as well. So our own fleet of trucks go out, make the deliveries. Our office staff will start coming in here roughly around 7 for customer service, start taking orders. Sales reps are going out, knocking on doors, either working from home to take care of the customers, or they're out meeting with our customers as well.
Okay, all right. Let's transition a little bit into your connection. You mentioned the owner's son.
Yes.
There's a wrestling connection. How did Blake Kaplan end up here at Sterling?
So the owner of Sterling is Bob Rosenfeld. He was a mentor to me at Ohio State. He came in the room. He was friends with Russ Hellickson. He wrestled at Edinburgh in the 60s, so and stayed connected to the sport afterwards. He came in, and so I've always known him. I even interviewed with him right out of college, but he told me at the time, go out, explore the world. You could always come back to Sterling if you don't like the corporate world. That's exactly what I did. I was at Cintas for 6 years. I called him on hate corporate life. Let's find something else. So I've been at Sterling for 16 years now.
Okay. All right, so there's a little bit of a connection through
Yes.
Ohio State wrestling.
That's
where
correct,
you
yes.
wrestled, and Sterling, right?
Mhm.
But there are also others that are here
Oh,
that are
yes.
connected, that have wrestled at other places as well.
Yes. So we have Riley Flynn is working here now. His dad is Tim Flynn, the head coach of West Virginia University. We have Brad Young in Cleveland. He was a high school wrestler that's still very much involved in the sport. And a lot of our employees just have some connection through the sport. Rob Rosenfeld is Bob Rosenfeld's son. He runs Sterling on a day-to-day basis. He wrestled with me at Ohio State. A lot of my customer base is old teammates or sometimes even old competitors that I would go with that we still became friends with. And we'll do a lot of business with them.
All right. What got you involved way back when with the sport of wrestling?
Actually, I got involved because my junior high soccer coach, soccer was my main sport at the time, was also the wrestling coach. So in junior high, Mike Hasselbeck told me to come out for the wrestling team, and I did. My older brother wrestled. My mom's uncles, or I guess my mom's cousins wrestled. So there's some connection with the Weiss family up in Cleveland, but there was no real connection. My dad has no idea. He still has no idea how many points on escape is. So there's no pressure. It's just something I enjoyed. Went for the point of I liked wrestling more than soccer because it was all on me as an individual sport. I could choose my own destiny. If I lost, it was my fault. If I won, I probably did something correct. So I enjoy that rather than see what a coach who picks a team. Wrestling, step on the line, shake hands, and let's roll.
Middle school is when you started.
That's correct. Yes.
These days, that's late, right?
Well, it's very late. Yeah.
You saw a lot of success. Fast forward into college, but before we get there, what was your success rate like when you started in middle school? And talk about high school, the Cincinnati area, right?
Yeah, I didn't even know out of season wrestling existed until like my senior year of high school. It was here's soccer season, here's wrestling season, here's baseball. It was just went from season to season to season, and that's just all you know is all you know. So I was just prepared for. I just enjoyed it. I had no pressure from my family, for what I wanted to do, and I just enjoyed it. And I think starting my sophomore year of soccer season, I broke my arm pretty early in the soccer season. My soccer coach would not let me play the rest of the season, even though I had a big film and I got cleared by the doctors. They said, no, you've been out. I want to take you cautious. So I started focusing at that point more on wrestling and started wrestling a little bit earlier in the season. And then slowly that sort of just took over as my main sport. And then became about my junior year, I said, there's some potential here.
Junior year in high school.
Junior in high school.
When you placed at the state tournament your senior year?
My senior year. I was a one-time state qualifier and placed fourth my senior year.
Okay, what year was that?
1999. So
99 was that at St. John or was that?
That was in the shot.
At the shot. So
yes.
we were at the shot in 99. Okay. Yeah.
First round. So I got fourth at districts. I lost to Ty Morgan in the semifinals.
Okay.
Won the state qualifying match. Then for third and fourth, I lost to Haytok Pliev.
Okay.
So nice to have an Olympian there, or future Olympian for that match.
Right.
Qualify for the state tournament. First match was against Ryan Bertine, going to be two-time national champ at Michigan. So I lost the first round, came all the way back to the third and fourth place match, and lost to Kayla from Wadsworth for third and fourth. But that was the only time I qualified for state. I enjoyed it. I wrestled at Ohio State only because at the time in high school, that's when you sort of had to qualify yourself to be even a walk-on. At the time, they want you to place at the Michigan State Open. I sucked. There's no way I was going to be able to do that. But in high school, I did Mitch Clark's website to create his Take Top book.
Okay.
So I just knew him from the Ohio State wrestling camps between junior and senior year. And that's what sort of allowed me to walk on.
Okay, let me back up. We've got to pick that apart.
Sorry, okay.
You developed Mitch Clark's website?
Yeah, it was an old website I made in high school. My coach said, oh, Blake can make websites. Just a side hobby I had.
Yeah.
So I made a website from the very beginning. I made Mitch Clark's website for his book that came out.
Okay. And that helped you get in the wrestling room at Ohio State.
That sort of connected me with Mitch Clark. And for doing the website, he gave me a book and signed it, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. A signed book from Mitch Clark.
Yeah.
And that sort of helped get past the point of, okay, now they're looking at me a little bit to allow me to walk on.
Okay, so I can't stress enough about the sport of wrestling being, it's, you mentioned it's an individual sport, but just because you have accolades now as a youth or even a high school state champ doesn't mean that that's going to translate into success in college. And
No.
here you have the opposite, to where you really didn't have. Unfortunately, we have to measure state placements and championships. So you had one. It's fantastic. It's placing fourth. You still have to beat down the door at Ohio State, and you become an All-American. How does that happen?
Well, it was a long, hard process, but it's a bunch of small steps. So it's not one giant step that happens. It's a bunch of small steps to get me there. So I walked in the Ohio State room. I did not get a takedown for the first 3 months. I was the freshman that came in where the seniors just wanted a break, and they'd grab me, throw me on my back, and hold me on my back after 15 seconds. So they'd hold me there for 6 minutes and 45 seconds. And I'm fighting and crying. I'm like, this sucks. So I had to fight off, but slowly it's like, okay, one day I might get a takedown of someone. Or sometimes it's like, yeah, I was able to grab that guy's leg today and fight him off pretty well from a scramble.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a small steps. Oh, that guy's a state champ at an open tournament. Actually got a win from, say, Central Michigan, something like that. So there's a bunch and I kept getting a little better and better. I also, if you view yourself as a walk-on, you always will be. So just because I was a walk-on, I followed the lead of Tommy Rollins, Johnny Clark, Jeff Ratliff, and the other guys like Ryan Hebert, the other guys that came in with at that time. Jesse Lang was in that group. I just kept, if they were going on a hard run, I was going on a hard run. If they were eating well, I tried to eat well. So I just really tried to follow their lead.
I mean, all of those things, if you're talking to a room full of wrestlers, they get it. But if you're talking to a room full of, people that are just sitting on their couch eating potato chips, they don't understand what it takes. You really are talking more about, you're emulating success. And we can pick up a book or we can watch a TV show and we can try to emulate success. But really what I hear reading between the lines is it's all up here. It's in your mind. And you were able to somehow flip that switch to become an All-American at the Ohio State University.
Yeah, we have to be a little psycho. We can't be normal to be some of the best wrestlers. So there's something in my weird brain that says, oh, I like pushing myself hard. I like putting myself through an exhausting sweat where I can't even move at the end. So but you also develop a little bit of internal pride when that happens. So it's not just, oh, I'm on the team. It's like, no, if I'm going to put this much work in, I want to start winning. So that was my mentality. It's like, if I'm going to work this hard, I don't just want to be on the team. I want to start having success. So those type of things started happening. So I started getting the little wins, and I think I was third string, 184 pound, my third year, and I pulled off a huge upset when I beat Andy Rovat, a future Olympian from Michigan at the time. Caught him in a spladle, even though the newspaper said it was a trick move. That was a big thing. It was like, how the hell did Blake Kaplan beat Andy Rovat? Yeah. But it wasn't just the spladle. It was just like I mentally put myself in a position where I was able to compete with those guys.
So you were able to jump levels, and you say incrementally, and I get all that. Are there one, maybe two, besides the Rovat match?
Sure.
Are there one or maybe two successes that stick out to you that say, yeah, I've arrived. I'm able to compete with these guys. The spladle aside,
sure.
what are we doing that says I'm measuring up with these guys?
I would say my second year in college, so redshirt freshman year, I remember going to some of the open tournaments and beating some of the guys that I emulated, that I looked up to in high school, the multiple state champions. And sometimes you can take the state championships, once you get to the college room, throw those right out the window. They're a dime a dozen. I'm a 4-time state champ. Great, so were 6 other people, and the rest of them I was with every day.
Yeah.
So take all the high school accolades and throw it away. I was probably a little bit of a late bloomer physically, so that probably helped me also get my success in the later years. But I remember those matches at the Opens. Then I made the starting lineup third year, so redshirt sophomore year of college. I was a backup the entire season. Anton Talamantes goes down right before the Big Ten tournament. They call me in, and I end up qualifying for the NCAA tournament my third year. I remember that I had a beat a guy named Ralph Danisco from Wisconsin.
Okay.
And that's where you had to place top 7 in the Big Ten to qualify.
Uh-huh.
No one had any thought that I would do that because I didn't wrestle all year. He was a scrambler, I was a scrambler, but I was very comfortable in those situations. Ended up pulling a big win. I think he was ranked top 12 somewhere in the country.
Okay.
So that's where I qualified for the NCAA's my sophomore year.
Okay. Redshirt sophomore year, you go. Don't AA that year, right?
No, I had a wonderful draw. I lost to the national champion Rob Rowan first round. Only guy he didn't pin the whole tournament.
There we go. Incremental steps, like you said.
And Pat Papalizio was a 3 seed, got upset first round. I dropped in the rat tail constellation. I was literally the first person out in the entire NCAA tournament.
You were the first one,
So,
the first casualty. What do you take away from losses like that going into your senior campaign?
what I take away, goals. I saw the success of what those guys had, and I didn't think that I was that far from that. So it's a mentality of, if those guys are having that success, there's no reason I can't also. So a lot of times people sort of limit themselves by where they were in the past. Well, I was wrestling people, and I said, I could have won that position. Or if I fought a little harder, or just you learn from individual moments like that. So I have the goals of, if that guy's in that position, I could also be in that position.
Back to that strong mindset, right? Is there anybody outside of your mind that stands out to you as a mentor, somebody that helped you along the way? Could be outside the wrestling world even.
I say I looked up to my mom a lot. She's my dad. My dad worked 80 hours a week my entire life, and he did a lot to provide for us because he worked retail. He had a hardware store growing up, so he was there at 7 a.m. Got home at 8:30 p.m. So he worked really hard. So I told myself, no matter what I did in the wrestling room, I'm not working as hard as that, trying to provide for a family. My mom also worked nonstop to take care of her 3 boys. She also has something called dystonia. So sometimes the left side of her body completely shuts down. It's a neurological disease. She never used that as an excuse to not do something. There's never a time in her life where she's like, I have dystonia, I can't do this activity. She found ways around it. She would still go to the dance parties, the bar mitzvahs, or whatever it might be. She would still go to those events, and she would find a way to overcome some of those different things. So I always looked up to that. I was like, if they could succeed through whatever challenges are in front of them, this is just wrestling. I could do this.
All right, let's talk about Wrestlers in Business Network.
Sure.
You are what we call an Inner Circle member. With Inner Circle membership comes some perks. One of them being, a nice
Perfect.
interview to highlight you and highlight your business and where you work. But I want to turn it around a little bit and say, what made you, or what prompted you to become a member?
Sure.
And then maybe an Inner Circle. And then what are you wanting to get out of WIBN?
Well, I think wrestlers connect with wrestlers, whether they're teammates, competitors with other wrestlers, whatever it might be. There's a natural bond that wrestlers have with each other. The wrestlers in business is a great connection for those type of people with the same crazy mentality that they go through these obstacles. So I was able, as Sterling as we hire a bunch of wrestlers or people that are very competitive in that mindset, because they know if something goes wrong at work, maybe in the past that they wrestled, they've also had a pretty hard loss that they had to overcome. So there's a lot of synonymous things that happen with wrestling that also happen with business. You celebrate the successes, get past the challenges, and long term try to get better and succeed.
So surrounding yourself with like-minded people, definitely a check mark on something
Yes.
like that. Is there anything more specific that you'd like to see out of the chapter? I'm just going to throw some things out there, not to put words in your mouth, but what we want to do is we want to connect some of those wrestlers with job opportunities. We want to make sure that we're supporting the community, right? And as being a fairly new chapter,
Sure.
I think we're not quite 5 years into this in
Okay.
Central Ohio. Is there anything that stands out to you being WIBN related that you really want to just get behind?
I know stores in the startup stages for the Central Ohio region. I know Cleveland's pretty well developed, and some of those. I like to get to something like that. There's no reason we can't have a nice big chapter here. There's a lot of wrestling that's growing in Central Ohio. You have Ohio State right here. So you have that community that could help grow to maybe at a top level wrestling. connections. There's also a lot of people that really support the sport around here, and all these people that support the sport, whether you wrestled or just a fan of wrestling or your kids wrestle, whatever it might be, you see what wrestlers could do with their lives. So you want to connect with other people like that. So I think the wrestlers in business, we just have to keep building the community. Really, right now it's a numbers game. If we could just have more social events, invite whoever meets. Don't try to make it like who paid to come to this event. No, let's get people. Let's build it organically, and then the money will come. The organization will come. Everything will come once we start getting the numbers for the whole community.
All right. I want to thank you for your hospitality, walking me around, showing me the place. What am I missing here? What else do you have to say?
Well, that's a deep question there.
We could be here for a while. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's not to say. No, I really appreciate it. I think it's a great opportunity for the wrestlers in business to keep developing the sport past your competitive days. I truly think wrestling is the greatest of all the sports. So the more we can connect with those people, but it's also a fringe sport. There's a lot of people who think it's weird, or there's a lot of people who think, oh, I don't want to do that. So, but the people that are involved with that, they really like connecting with one another. It doesn't have to be, you play golf with those guys. It has nothing to do with, I mean, you don't go, hey, let's go pick up takedowns today, like you go pick up basketball. But it's just a connection of, let's talk about wrestling, let's relive our glory days, and let's be part of the community. And that I think is the most important part.
All right. Well, I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for having us in. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much.